What's going on, guys? David Falla here, and today we're going to be talking about the new WAHL Cordless Seniors. I want to start the video by saying thank you to WAHL for sending me the clipper. WAHL has been a big supporter of the channel, so thank you very much. So the first thing I want to do, I want to show you guys the clipper. I think this is a very nice looking clipper. I like the new color. It's actually black instead of the dark blue. It has like a brown goldish color here on the lever, and the same thing for the power button. It has the surgical blade, straight blade, right? And that's it. That's pretty much what the clipper is. It's actually the same as the previous version, the dark blue. It's exactly the same. I actually asked WAHL if there was anything different. They say just the new color, and that it comes with more accessories. So everything else seems to be exactly the same. Obviously, because it's a new clipper, it's gonna feel more powerful. The battery is gonna last longer than the previous version. I have the previous version. You guys seen it on here on the channel for pretty much all my tutorials. That's the clipper I use the most. And reason why is because a lot of people always ask me like, oh, can you use WAHL? Can we use WAHL clippers? Because that's what we cut with. So I started using a lot of WAHL clippers because of that reason. Honestly, I fell in love with this machine. It's actually a great clipper. I love the way it feels on my hand, which to me is something very important. A lot of people always talk about like the type of motor that it has, the type of blade that it has, and all that stuff. But to me, it's very important how comfortable the machine is in my hand. I have used clippers from other companies and they're great, they cut great, but they're very uncomfortable for me, so I don't use them anymore. So for me, comfort is a very important thing, and I think WAHL does an excellent job with this. Like you can see, it's that you can grab it the way that you want it, because you know it has the indents here for your fingers, and it's a little bit wider, you know, which is it's more like a kind of like a rectangle type of thing, so shape. So I like that about it, because it's actually easier for me to hold, and it feels great. The weight is it's a little bit heavier than the plastic version, but I actually liked it. I actually prefer metal clippers than the plastic ones, just because I don't know, they feel more solid. I feel when the machine is too light, it to me feels like a toy. So that's why I prefer the a little bit heavier. It's not as heavy like say like a clipper with a cord or any of that, but it's a little bit heavier than the plastic ones, for example, the Magic Clip. But I actually find this to be a little bit better, and it helps me to be a little bit more consistent with it. I guess just because it's a little bit easier to work with it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, you know when you grab something that is really light and then it's kind of like, I don't know, kind of like it's too easy to move around. This one, because it's a tiny bit heavier, because it's all metal, it just feels like you have more control when you move it, so when you move your hand. So that's just my opinion. I really like the design. I think they're not gonna win an award for how cool the design is, or a lot of people are not necessarily gonna buy it because it's the best looking clipper in the world, but it's nice, it's perfect, like it does the job. I think I will kind of talk about like an iPhone, right? Like an iPhone, it's not the most beautiful piece of hardware there is, right? I think there's phones that are a lot nicer, but people buy it because it just works. And this is what I think of this clipper. It just works. And for me, that's what I use now to cut, and how's it? I love it. So another question that I always get when it comes to clippers is the sound, right? Is it loud, right? Because a lot of people are concerned that clippers are sometimes very loud, or with time they start getting louder and louder. So I'm gonna show you guys, for example, between the new version and the version before. I've been having this version for about, like I'll say, like maybe 2 years or since they came out. This is the UK version, the first version that came out. So I've been having it since I would say like 2 years. So I'm gonna show you guys the difference between the sound. This is the new one. So how you guys can hear, the new one is a little bit quieter, but it's not like, there's not a lot of a difference if you think about it. For this machine to be like like 2 years old. I don't think it's super loud. But you know, that's just my opinion. For some people, might be really loud. For me, I don't think it is. I think it's like a good sound. It's not like an annoying sound. The clients are gonna look at you kind of like, you know, like, what's wrong with your machine? You know what I mean? It happens with other machines. Sometimes they get so loud that you're like, you know, what's going on with the machine? You think it's broken, but it's not. It's just within time, especially rotary motors, they start getting louder and louder. So it's just part of the way the machines are made. So when I received this clipper, I actually posted a picture on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me. I'll post a lot of stuff there. And if you guys want to ask me questions or suggestions to videos, that's the place to do it. So when I posted a video, a lot of people started asking me about the blade. So this machine comes with the surgical blade. You can see it's a more straight blade. And this one is 0 gap. So it's super easy to remove like skin lines. It's super easy. A lot of people love the surgical blade. Some people like more the other type of blade, the taper blade. It's just personal preference. But for me, this blade works. One thing that I can tell you is that this is a beast when it comes to removing bulk. A lot of people talk about how like quarter clippers are better for that. I haven't used a quarter clipper in years, guys, in a long time, and I haven't had any problems ever removing bulk with any of my cordless clippers. So the whole thing about like how quarter clippers have more power, it could be, I'm not sure. Maybe it is, maybe I forgot how it feels to use a quarter clipper, but honestly, I don't need them. I don't need a quarter clipper because this clipper actually has a lot of power, and the blade removes bulk. Like, I had no problems, how I said. A lot of people ask me if this clipper is great for fading or more for bulk removing. So what I can tell you is this, and this is what I do. It doesn't mean this is the way to do it. It's just my way to do things, right? So this is my #1 clipper right now. This is what I use for all my haircuts, and I do the whole haircut with this, removing bulk or fading or everything, right? What I do after is that I use the Magic Clip, because the Magic Clip has a different cutting blade, which is like a staggered cutting blade. So that means that it has some teeth longer than others, and that kind of feathers the hair a little bit more. So what I usually do is I do the whole haircut with this clipper, and then what I do is that I use the Magic Clip to kind of just retouch the fade and kind of feather that haircut a little bit better. And actually it works great for me. Like, if you guys pay attention to my Instagram again, and you guys see the latest pictures that I've been posting, I think that it just looked a lot nicer, because I think the combo between those two, it actually works very well for me. Does it mean that you need a second clipper? Not really. I think this is a great clipper for everything. It's just for me, like, since I had another clipper, then that's exactly what I'm doing. So this clipper is great for bulk removal, but also is great for fading. So if you're looking for one clipper that does it all, this will be the clipper, in my opinion, that will do both, right? The Magic Clip is an amazing clipper, but I don't think it's that strong, or the blade doesn't really feed the hair as great when it's a lot of hair. So you might have problems removing bulk a little bit. So now we're going to talk about the battery, right? This is a cordless clipper, so obviously it has a battery, has a lithium battery in there. The box says that it has a running time of 70 minutes, right? I think this is great. I think the battery is great. I mean, you have to find a balance between power and battery life, right? If you want a lot of power, then the battery is not gonna last that much, right? It depends obviously on the size of the battery, right? But at the same time, you know, if you put a huge battery in this, it's gonna be super heavy, it's gonna be bigger, and that's not probably what you want. So it has to be a balance between power and battery life, right? In my opinion, I think WAHL did a great job with this. The battery lasts. I would say maybe 4 haircuts without having to charge the clipper. In my case, how I said, I use the power clip, so as soon as I'm not using the clipper is always charging. So for me, I have no problem at all. Like, if this was my only clipper right now, I would be perfectly fine, because I would say, like, when I'm not using the clipper, I'm charging it. So that's fine. I have no problems with that. If you only want one clipper, I think this will be the clipper, but it also depends on the way you use it, right? If you're the type of barber that you don't necessarily remember to charge your clipper because you're busy all the time, then maybe get a quarter clipper, the quarter senior, for example. It will do the same, right? And it has the cord, so you don't have to worry about the battery. I think the battery is great. I don't have no problems. I have no complaints about the battery. Like, even when I do like classes, or I do like house calls and things like that, like, the clipper lasts perfectly fine. I don't have to like be worried about, like, is it gonna die on me or any of that. So I think it works. You know, some clippers, yes, they have a better battery life, but at the same time, they don't have the power that this machine has. So how I say, it's a trade-off between power and battery life. It's up to you. You decide what you need and what works best for you. So now we're going to talk about the only thing that I will say that I don't like. And I don't like it because it's a problem that we have with metal clippers, right? And that is the heat. This machine gets hot very, very quickly, and that could be a problem, right? If this was gonna be my only clipper, I think it will do everything. The problem is you have to be very efficient the way you cut, because the machine will get hot. And I mean, I don't know if there's something that WAHL can actually do, because it's a metal clipper, so metal, it will like heat up quicker, and that is, I don't know if there's something that could be done when it comes to that. I'm not an engineer, I'm just a barber. I just know if something works or doesn't work. That's it, right? But how I say, like, there could be a problem with that, because for me, like, if I'm doing a haircut and this is the only clipper that I use, by the time I'm done with the fade, the machine is hot. So I have to, like, sometimes, like, switch clippers, for example, to another clipper to finish my fade. You know, it could be just because the way I cut, I'm not the fastest barber in the world. Maybe that's the reason why. It could be that what I try to do is this. For example, when I'm cutting and I'm changing guards or I'm grabbing something or something like that, the machine is always off. So every time the machine is on the head, it's on, obviously, but when it's not, I turn it off. So that helps me. It helps the machine also to cool down. Obviously, I clean, I spray it, I cool care and all that, you know, to make sure that it cools down. But it's a machine, because it's metal, it heats up fairly quickly. So if that's something, like, if you're a barber that takes longer in your haircuts, I would say like half an hour more in your haircuts, or for example, you take like 25 minutes or half an hour doing a fade, then maybe the magic clip, I noticed, because it's plastic, it doesn't necessarily heat up as quickly. So maybe that's something you can think of. Also, it's very important to maintain your blades lubricate, because obviously it's metal against metal. If there's no lubrication, they're gonna heat up quicker. So that's something, you know, like, I would say that's the only negative thing that I can think of for the machine, because, you know, it's metal, but at the same time, how I say, like, I like the metal clippers, so I don't mind it that it heats up quicker, because I have another clipper. But, you know, if you are a barber that only have one clipper, then it's something you gotta think of, like, you know, how efficient are you when you're cutting, when you're fading. If you take a little bit longer than usual, then maybe this machine is gonna heat up too quickly for you. So maybe I will have two, or I will have like a plastic casing clipper, like the magic clip. So last, I'm gonna show you the box. I think one of the main complaints that I had before with WAHL was like their packaging. Their packaging before was so cheap that every time I would like buy a WAHL clipper, I would be like, I didn't feel like the money that I spent the right way, because the packaging was cheap. It was very cheap, and then you will see all the companies that spend so much money on the packaging, and it was just a very pleasant, like, unboxing experience. So for me, you know, I think WAHL actually step it up. That's one thing I can tell WAHL step it up with the packaging. This looks very, very, very clean. How you can see, it looks very nice, and I gotta give props to WAHL, because honestly, they're listening to what the barbers want. And, you know, like, the box, many people say it's just a box, who cares? I get it. You're gonna open the box and you're gonna throw it out, but when you spend, like, you know, $200 on a clipper, when you open it, and that unboxing experience makes a big difference. Think about when you have an iPhone, right? When you opening an iPhone, it's like a whole experience. It's just like such a that you feel like just by opening that you spend your money correctly. So it's the same thing with any clipper like that. I think packaging is important, even though it's just a box and you throw it out. But, like, you know, it's to me, at least to me and to a lot of people, it's a very important thing. So here we have the box. How I said, we're gonna open it. I love that, you know, they actually put the brand here. This is very nice. I was actually very happy when I was unboxing this. And then you open, and this is what you get, which is very nice as well. You know, how I said, you can think, you can tell that WAHL actually listen to complaints about the packaging, and they step it up. So here, obviously, the clipper goes there. Oop, that's on the ground now. And then we have a little box next to it, and then the box we can find all the rest of the stuff, right? So we have the paper that nobody ever reads, because nobody cares about that, and then we have a comb, like the WAHL comb that everybody uses, because I think it's a great comb that, you know, I actually started using it now, a clipper comb. It's actually very good. And then we have the oil, the little oil, you know, that comes with the clippers that I told you before I don't use ever. So that's that. And it comes with guards, and that was very happy with it. It comes with a metal guard. It comes with the half, the 1, and the 1.5, which I'm very happy that WAHL included this. On the first version, the blue version, WAHL didn't include any guards. The machine was very expensive in my opinion for what you got, and so I'm glad that WAHL at least included guards in this one. I mean, come on, I think for so I feel when you're spending that type of money for a top of the line clipper, it should come with everything you need, you know, like you shouldn't have to buy things on the side, because if you buy and you're gonna use it and then you realize that they have guards and now you have to wait for the guards, so you gotta order the guards and all that. So I'm happy that WAHL is including this, because I mean, I think once you're spending that type of money on a clipper, I think that it should come with everything you need. So my conclusion for the review is that this is an incredible clipper. I'm actually very happy with it. Honestly, like I started doing all my haircuts, like this is all I use now, because I really like it. Honestly, it does everything that I needed to do. I do have a second clipper, how I said, the Magic Clip, just because I like the working with both. But honestly, if I was just gonna buy one clippers, this will be my clipper. If I think the sound is fine. It has a good sound to it. It's not too loud. The blade is a good blade. It's I'm not the biggest fan of the surgical blade. I actually like the taper blade better. But honestly, I got used to this, and it's super easy to remove the skin line with this. So I think it's a well overall like clipper, and I think I give WAHL, so I give this clipper a 9 out of 10. I think that the only negative thing that I have to say is maybe that it heats up too quickly. It gets hot very quickly, so you know, I don't know if there's something that could be done about that, but you know, that's about it. Everything else is great. So that's it, guys. This is my review of the new WAHL Seniors. How you can tell, it's the same clipper as before. It just has a different color theme, but everything else works great. I think sometimes, like, if it's not broken, why you gonna fix it? And I'm sure that if there was something wrong with it, WAHL will fix it, because how I can tell you, the packaging is now better and now includes accessories, which was one of the first complaints that I heard from people when they bought the first cordless Senior. So I'm glad that WAHL is listening, and that means that clipper companies are paying attention to us, and that's what it's about. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So if you're looking to buy this clipper, I highly recommend it. It's a great clipper. You will be very happy. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go on Amazon, I'm gonna look for it, and I'm gonna leave, if I find it, I'm gonna leave a link on the description here, so you can actually get it from there if you're interested. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.